Hello guys, welcome back to our lesson on algorithms or flowchart precises. I'm your seven Gamfor Jesper Gamfor. Happy to have you back. Okay, so today we are going to start implementing the software. And now, how are we going to go about that? We'll dive directly into what we call control structures. So we'll talk about control structures. Control structures, we have three types of control structures. Okay, we have three types of control structures. What are the three types of control structures we are going to be dealing with in our lessons here? We have the first control structure, control structures. So we're going to be dealing with control structures today. And the first type of control structure will be the sequence. Next will be what we call condition or selection control structure. Then lastly, we're going to have repetition or loops. Okay. Loops. So for our class today, we'll start right away. How do we present algorithms using a sequence, the sequence control structure? So that's what we'll do. For sequence, what we are going to do is we'll take an example, okay? We'll take an example under sequence. We'll take an example which what could be the example? We'll take a simple example of an algorithm presentation. So maybe we'll just write an algorithm that takes in two numbers, and those two numbers will consider them as integers. So it takes in two numbers, adds them up, and prints the result. That's the result is the sum. Okay, prints the result. So that's eventually what we are going to do as far as sequence is concerned. So let's move straight to business, or to what we are supposed to do. Okay, so how do we go about a sequence? This simple example we have taken. What we'll do is we'll click on this arrow. The first thing is to click on the arrow. Now, how can we come up with the sum of two integers? The first thing we need to know is we need to first of all identify, do we have inputs? What are the inputs? What are the outputs? So in this our example, we have two inputs, and what are the two inputs? The two integers, which we'll have to declare them. In Flowgorithm, you have to declare the variables you are going to use. So when you click on the shape declare, you now declare the variables. So what name can I give to my variables? I will call the first variable, that's the first number, num1, comma. The second number, I'll call it num2. Then the third variable, sum, that is going to receive the sum of the first number and the second number. Okay, and all of them are integers. So here you can clearly see here that we have types. Under types, we have integers, real, strings, booleans, And if we are dealing with arrays, you tick on array and give the size of the array. So for now, we are dealing with integers, that's primitive data types. Okay, so once you've done that, you click on OK, and you can clearly see that it shows here that we have integer, num1, num2, and sum. So the next thing we're going to do is how will the user know that he or she has to enter a number or the first number? So to do that, we use what we call output, and output is to paste a message on the screen or to send a message on the screen. So we use the shape output. So once you do that, you double click, and then what is the message we want the user to see? What is the message we want the user to see? What is the message? So we want, in quotes, we are going to write enter the first integer or the first number. Enter the first number. Thank you. And it, since it's a text, we put it in quotes. Okay. Then we click on OK. So the next thing is you have sent the message to the user, but now once you send the message to the user and the user decides to respond, how do you save the number? How do you save that number? Where do you store the number that has been entered by the user? You store it in the variable num1. And how do we do that? In flowchart, you use input, the input shape, which we can see here. Input. And then inside the input, you will declare the variable where you want the value to be stored in. So we can clearly see that we have stored the first number in num1. Now, we'll do the same thing for the second number. So since I don't want to make my video too lengthy, I'm going to select these two instructions, right click, copy, and then I'll click after this, paste. Or you can use Control V. Okay, so, and then I will modify the message. What is my output? My output is going to be enter second number. Enter the second number, and I will store the value of the second number into the variable num2. Once we've done this, we now have our two inputs. Now, what is our output? The sum. But now we need to calculate, we need to do some calculations. We need to assign num1 plus num2 to sum. So to do that, we'll click on this arrow, then we'll use the shape assign for processing or calculations. We double click inside. On the left hand side, we can clearly see a variable. So what is the variable we are assigning? Num1 plus num2 sum. The variable is sum. Then the expression will be num1 plus num2. Simple as that. And then we click on OK. So we've done the calculation, the processing. Now, after calculating, our algorithm says that we are to print the result, that is the sum. So to print the result, we use an output, and what is going to be our message in the output? We'll simply say the sum is space, we close, we end with a closing quote. Then now, what do we want to appear after the sum is? We want the value that is found in the variable sum to appear after that. For instance, if we enter 2 and 3, obviously we want that the result should be the sum is 5. So to do that, we'll now put an and sign. The and sign, when I say and sign, is good, you see what it looks like. Okay. So this is what I call and sign. Okay, this is what I call the and sign, which you can see there. So I'm going to put and, then the variable I want, the value of the variable I want to appear there. The variable is sum. So I want it to appear like the sum is, then whatsoever is stored in the variable sum will appear after that. So that is it. Then we click on OK and we move on. Voila. So this is our flowchart here, as we can all see. This is our flowchart. You can see this is our flowchart here. So the next thing we're going to do is we'll save it. So I'll click on the save button. I'll give a name to it, sum of two integers, as you can see here. And then I'll save. Yes, I'll save. Now we already have our program saved. But now we need to run. We need to dry run and see what it does, if it is correct. So we click on this button. As you can see here, our console has appeared. But now I'm going to change. Let me use maybe a different layout. I will choose this so that we can clearly see how, and then I will reduce the speed maybe to slow so that we see how it executes. No, slow, let's say medium. Let's see how it executes step after step, instruction after instruction. So you can see the input. We are already at the level of the input. Look at the console here. The console says enter the first number. So I'll enter, say 3. I'll hit on enter. The next message, look at where we are. You see that the variable has changed here. Num1 has received the variable, the number 3. Okay, so what is the second number? I may say 5. So you see, so we added 3 and 5, and it gives us the sum is 8. Okay, we can see here from this variable watch here, you see that it's executing, and our function, our program does not have any issue. It's correct. Okay, so the next thing you need to know is that when you do this, you can decide to export the image. Okay, you can copy this flowchart which we've just done here. You can copy it and paste in a Word document, for instance. Okay, let me open this Word document and you see. If I paste here, see, this is my Flowgorithm. This is my shape here, my flowchart, which I can decide to change the color to make it black and white, which is now uniform and looks good. You can reduce, enlarge, do whatever you want. Okay, so let's go back. Yeah, another thing you can do is you can also convert this your flowchart to any programming language. So you do that by clicking on the, let's go back. You do that by clicking on this button, the source code viewer button. We'll click on this. You see, this is our source code viewer. And then when you go up here, you can clearly see here that our flowchart has been converted to pseudocode. This same algorithm here in flowchart, this is the equivalent in pseudocode. Now we have so many types of pseudocodes. This one is the Gandhi pseudocode. You can move to Igbo pseudocode and you see that the presentation is different. Okay, the notation, this is also different. The notation is different from the first. As well as you can switch to a programming language like this Python. This is Python. Okay, I can decide to copy this code here, this Python code, copy, and then I open my program, my Python IDE. I'm going to use Thonny. Thonny is a very interesting Python IDE. Thonny, Thonny. So I'm going to paste it here and run the program to see if it does the same thing, just to see if our code works. You can clearly see here. Okay, you can clearly see here. This is the console below. So it says enter the first number. So I'll enter 3. The second number 5. The result should be, the sum is 8. You see that it works. So depending on the programming language you want, so far as the flowchart is correct, you can switch to any other programming language. So that is it for So that is it for today, for our lesson under selection. Okay, see you in our next class, and remember, please remember to share, like, subscribe, and comment. Thank you very much, and see you in our next class.